Good morning, beautiful people. It is Friday. And if you've looked outside, if you're in Wasilla, Alaska or the valley, it's a little snowy. It's a little snowy. What have we had? It's still falling, I think, at this point. So we're looking at a full foot? I don't know. It's pretty stacked up there. So today I wanted to talk to you. Oh, by the way, my name is Sara Williams and I am with Phoenix Rising Training and Development. I wanted to talk to you guys all today about Alaskan Leaf. So Alaskan Leaf LLC and Lauren Dreyer. Lauren and I got the opportunity to talk a couple of days ago. And, a little bit about Lauren. He went to school at University of Oregon. And why that's important to me is because I am a duck, only by association. I grew up in the Eugene-Springfield area, and I went to Western Oregon University, but my parents were ducks. And in the state of Oregon, you are either a duck or a beaver. And if you're not those things, don't talk to me. And if you're really not a beaver, beavers, I don't know about those beavers. Actually, I'll root for beavers as long as they're not fighting each other, right? So good football game there in Oregon. So that's where we connected first on that. But he came to Alaska, of course, between when he went to school and came back to Alaska. And Alaska was home, and he was a caregiver in the medical marijuana market for Alaska for his family and friends. Or just family, sorry. And so, he saw some personal family issues with cancer and the way cannabis interacted with cancer. And it really motivated him to want to bring this to a commercial level, right? So not to necessarily recreational level as far as let's just get everybody stoned, but he sees the medicinal benefits of it. And so he wanted to bring out that the product that can do so much good for people. And so when he looked at his strategy, he looked at vertical integration, and vertical integration being, of course, the most stable. So for those following along, vertical integration is cultivation attached to a production license, attached to a retail license, or cultivation attached to a retail license, something where you're guaranteed that you have a supply if if your other suppliers don't have any or whatever, you at least in your cultivation side have some supply. And so you can connect those two, and it creates a little bit more of a stable operation. As the market normalizes out, we'll probably see a lot of those separate individual, or maybe even come together, just depending on kind of who comes out there with that. Just like me, in my search for retail, he had a really hard time finding a location. But he was equally, just like me, transparent from the beginning. So I would come to these landlords and I would say, hey, look, my name is Sara Williams. I'm going to be opening a retail store, a cannabis retail store, and would you be okay with leasing to a cannabis facility? And right out of the gate, we said, nope, no way. We got people that said, I have a loan on my property, so I can't do that. As you know, if there's a loan on a property, then the bank could say, hey, you're leasing it for illegal purposes, federally illegal purposes. That could get our loan called. So very often, and we even saw the banking situation is hard because we even saw someone who had gone on and done some media and did just a bit on the news media, and his banker called him the next day and said, hey, you need to cash in all of your personal loans, all of your personal accounts, all of that needs to be paid off because you're in the marijuana industry. And that was just ridiculous. I personally had it to happen to us as well. Another business account that we had was closed because Alaska USA looked at the marijuana list and said, well, you were associated with the marijuana list or marijuana license that's been initiated, therefore we can't have a bank account with you. And it's pretty ridiculous. So, anyway, I'm totally off track. So being transparent at the start, that made it hard for him to find locations. But he did find a location. He is going to be located at 1211 West 36th Avenue in Suite A, there in Anchorage. And the location he found was zoned B3. So the Anchorage municipality, when they went through the zoning process, they said that a zoning classification of B3 is viable for a cultivation and an attached retail. But you could not have a cultivation in a B3 unless you had an attached retail, although retail could operate by itself in a B3. Very complicated stuff. So he's been kind of trudging along. He signed his lease in May, and he's been trudging along. He got his approval June or July, I believe, for his cultivation, and he will not see his Anchorage Assembly meeting until December 6th. December 6th. So, 6 months from the time that he got his state approval, the city approval will be coming then, which is frustrating to me because I see cities, I see especially Anchorage pass hundreds of liquor licenses, hundreds in one meeting. Like, oh, well, I don't know, 50, like a ton of liquor licenses. But that marijuana stuff's scary. You gotta delay. So, back on to what's important about Alaskan Leaf. He's got products he's going to be offering. He didn't want to tell me too much about strains or what exact strains that he's going to be bringing in to the market, but his favorite strains are medicinal, kind of high indica strains or high CBD strains. Naturally, being in a medicinal market, then that's it just makes sense for him. But moving that now into a rec market, he wants to bring more of a high indica or high CBD strain. Personally, he's not a fan of the paranoia-inducing ones. Neither am I. Not a big fan of that stuff. He intends to sell flower, of course. And he says that in his retail store, he expects to see things at about 50% flower product selection, about 20% concentrates product selection, and then 20% edibles and about 10% topicals. And that's pretty standard across the board in every beginning market, is that you have a 50% flower, 20, 15, on the others. And the issue here is most people just don't know a lot about concentrates yet. They're unsure. They don't know how to consume them. They take their own rigs, to get that. So it's kind of a setup and then additionally, edibles are I call edibles sneaky little bastards. Now, thankfully, in our market, a 5 milligram dosage on edibles is really going to be minimal. Right? It's just not, the ability to overdose on edibles at 5 milligrams is going to be very hard. Especially since everything has to be serving sized out, you have to be able to have some sort of a way to say, hey, this is a 5 milligram piece of chocolate. This is a 50 milligram chocolate bar, right? So our edibles market, truth be told, we all know it. It's going to limp along. Prices will stay low for edibles because of the lower THC content, ideally. But it's going to be really smart for retailers to teach consumers how to make their own edibles, especially if you want to keep those individuals out of the black market for their edibles. It's going to be really important. Let's see here. So what else? Okay, so Alaskan Leaf. Last thing, he's not going to be offering any tours. However, he does say that his competitive advantage is really that he's just going to focus on low cost. So low cost, efficient operations, as well as then making low cost product to the consumer. And that's the key, is that low cost is great because that's what we want on the consumer side. But if these businesses don't keep their operations efficient on the, business development side of things, then they're really going to be looking at having a challenge at their profit margins for that. So that is Alaskan Leaf. I was really excited to talk to Lauren. I wish him the best of luck, and we should see him and many of them opening more towards the end of the year. November, December, we'll see that early next year. We're going to see more opening. It's just going to be a slow rollout. And I think what's important for any legislator that's watching this is that to please understand that the speed of government, as you know, is so slow. And so when inevitably someone tries to repeal this in February of 2017, and please prove me wrong, absolutely, but we've heard that there's a group out there that intends to submit a removal of AS 1738, thus removing the entire cannabis industry come February. If there are any legislators watching this, I ask you that you please keep in mind that these individuals have put out hundreds of thousands of dollars into the Alaskan economy already. right? In ancillary services like myself, in ancillary services like security with Larry Clark and Valkyrie, like they have put hundreds of thousands of dollars into this market already, this Alaskan economy. So if anyone is like, hey, yeah, sure, let's just repeal it all, realize how much loss right now in this down economy that we have. Who's creating jobs? That's right, we are. We're creating jobs every day. But the quicker that the government delays us, hey, we can't continue to create those jobs. We can't create tax revenue and be the most amazing industry this state has ever seen without government support. That's it. We can't do it without government support. And so realize that these businesses that any legislature whose decision might be to overturn it is really hurting individuals who have placed money and time and invested into this economy. And so just keep that in mind there. What we're really seeing is here we sit. We are 2 weeks from the 2-year mark of it being passed. November 4th, 2014 was when it was passed. 2 weeks. Today, we're 2 weeks. 2 freaking weeks. From 2 years. From the day when we all went, woo, let's do this, to now. Oh my gosh, so much has changed. So many of us have changed. And we're still waiting on the municipality of Anchorage to approve testing facilities. Without leprechauns, and I call them my leprechauns because they're hard as hell to find in this state, but they hold the pot of gold at the end of the tunnel. So without our leprechauns, without CanTest, without AK Green Labs, this industry is dead in the water. We already have 2 cultivation facilities that have product. Great Land Ganja down in Kenai and Rosie Creek Farms in Fairbanks. They've got product. They're ready to go and get it out to these retailers. They cannot do that without approved testing facilities in Anchorage. Can't do anything. We're stuck. Just in the water, like dead. Let's go. Come on. So one of the things that this industry is missing for sure that I've noticed for a very long time, but being in a retailer spot, I was chasing my retailing dreams. Now in a spot of kind of training and business development, here's the deal. We need a local government liaison, right? We need a marijuana association that is able and has the time to sit and kind of, let's just call it what it is, lobby these political officials enough to educate them. Educate them about what they're seeing, what's going on. Like, you'd think that we've been educating now for 2 years, but it's still not working. So what's going on to keep this delay happening? Do we have a lack of professionals in the cannabis industry? I don't know. I don't think so, not based on what I've talked to them for. Or do we just have a delay in the speed of government? And that's probably more the answer, is the delay in speed of government. So how do we become more efficient in government operations? That's a question for everybody's day, right? I don't know yet, but I'm hoping to find out. Particularly, I want to sit down with Amy Demboski. She has had such a bad rap, right? Such a bad rap. The things that she said about this industry, the things, right? And people then throw it out there and they take that little snippet of what she said and they just blow it up. They blow it up and they say, whoa, she's a horrible person. Oh my gosh, the horrible things that they've said about this woman, and they don't even know her. And if there's anything that I have learned about becoming a public figure in general, is that no way am I going to believe social media pundits when it comes to assessing someone as a personality. So I want to sit down with her. I want to have coffee with her. I want to sit down with all the Anchorage Assembly members and all the Borough Assembly members and say, hey guys, how can we work together? What are your major concerns? Let's talk. Let's try to build some cohesiveness here, some political industry cohesiveness. Inevitably, every industry has that, right? Every industry that lobbies in any way has political cohesiveness with their government. So I think it's really important that we work on that. And so that is really my vent for today. Some local government liaison venting. 2 weeks from the 2-year mark is where we sit in passing it, and hopefully those testing labs come online. We can go. We can kick this off and go. But now we just wait. We just wait. Right? All right. You guys have a great day. I will talk to you on Monday.